Hi, I'm Colin Shaw. I'm the founder of Beyond Philosophy and author of 3 books on how to build a great customer experience. Today we're going to be looking at our second book, Revolutionize Your Customer Experience, where we're going to look at how customer centric your organisation is, because this is a key issue that faces businesses today, how to make their organisation more customer centric. For our book, Revolutionize Your Customer Experience, what we discovered is that all organisations are on a journey from being naive to natural in the way that they're orientated around the customer. And when we talk about an orientation, what we're looking at is, it's a bit like if your boss turns around and says, can you work late one night? If you're career orientated, you'll probably turn around and say, yeah, that's fine. If you're family orientated, you'll probably turn around and say, no, I've got to get home and look after the kids. What we're looking at here is, what is the orientation of your organisation around the customer? And what we discovered is that there are 4 orientations. We have some organisations who are naive, some organisations who are transactional, some organisations who are enlightened, and some organisations who are natural in the way that they're orientated around the customer. And in this video, what we're going to look at is how orientated your organisation is around the customer. Our research shows that there are 9 areas that affect the customer experience, and probably the best way of me describing those to you is to tell you a story. I was giving a speech in Florida and I asked the audience what's the best experience that they've ever had, and this guy Gary put his hand up and he said the best experience that he ever had was when he took his daughter to Disney for her 8th birthday. He said that when he turned up at Disney, he put the card into the machine. It made a beeping sound and a cast member came over, gave his daughter a big badge, gave her a balloon, and off she went into the park and had a really good day. But he also said that every single cast member that day that saw this little girl made a really big fuss of her, and he said that was his best ever customer experience. And from a simple customer experience like that, I guess the important thing is understanding how these 9 areas contribute towards that. Because it's about the people that you recruit, it's about the training that you give them. It's about whether you understand customers' physical or rational and emotional expectations. It's about the way that the process is designed. It's about the systems that are put in place to help improve that customer experience. But it's also about the culture and the leadership of that organisation. Do they actually get behind what the customer wants? So these 9 areas will affect the experience that you give your customer, and you will be at different stages in each of these 9 areas. You may be naive, you may be transactional, you may be enlightened, and you may be natural. One of the things to do is to understand where you are and what are you going to do to improve. What I'd like to do now is explain what each of these orientations is about and give you a chance to consider where your organisation is. A naive organisation is an organisation that focuses very much on themselves. The image I always have of a naive organisation is that image of a used car salesman. You drive the car off the parking lot and the engine falls out and they're not really worried. I know it's not like that, but that's the image that I have. A naive organisation is one who looks at their organisation and considers everything they do is about them. They don't consider the customer, their employee experience is poor, their measurement is only about revenue, the culture and the leadership of all that organisation is just about what can you get out of the customer. That's a naive organisation. A transactional organisation is an organisation who treats the customer as if they are a transaction. They are something to be processed. And whilst on the outside of it they may look customer centric, in fact this organisation is still quite inside out, and they consider themselves first before the customer. Typically these organisations may have customer service departments, but those people tend to be treated as second-class citizens. The measurement that they have is some customer measurement, but all around the physical and the rational side of things. The processes are all around physical and rational side of things as well. They haven't thought about the customer's experience, they haven't thought about emotions, and they're not proactive, they are reactive towards the customer. An enlightened organisation recognises the need for a more holistic approach to the customer experience. And there are a few key differences between an enlightened organisation and a transactional organisation. An enlightened organisation recognises they need to be far more proactive towards the customer than a transactional organisation. An enlightened organisation recognise that they need to build an emotionally engaging experience, and they need to design a deliberate experience to evoke certain emotions in a customer. And they measure whether those emotions are being evoked at certain points of contact. And finally, an enlightened organisation will look at that more holistic experience and think about it from a cultural and leadership perspective, making sure that the whole organisation is focused around the customer. Those are some of the traits of an enlightened organisation. A natural organisation is where the focus on the customer is total. The customer is in the DNA of these organisations. The irony of these organisations is they won't have a vice president of customer experience or a project of customer experience. Why would they? Because everybody does it naturally. Therefore, one of the key things that a natural organisation is looking at is that emotional side of the experience, and they're starting to think about how they can use senses, how they can use smell, taste, touch, sound to evoke customers' emotions. And what they're looking to do is they're looking to create memorable customer experiences, something that people will remember and will stand out. Those are some of the traits of a natural organisation. So being customer centric is one of the key business issues that organisations struggle with today. So some questions I would leave you with. Where are you on your journey from being naive to natural? Are you naive? Are you transactional? Are you enlightened? Or are you natural? What are the key enablers that you need to put in place to make your organisation more customer centric? And my third question is, how are you going to ensure that those things are embedded in the organisation so you actually make that transition? If you'd like to find out more about the journey from naive to natural, and in fact take a test on where your organisation is, then please visit our website at beyondphilosophy.com. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on our next video. Thank you.